Hey there, Monique Leslie, Misfit Crafter. I am bringing you today a fun little project using some paper that I got off of Amazon. But unfortunately, I guess I found out that it is no longer available, maybe. But this is called Honey Flower, and it's by Pakalisa Craft. If I'm reading that right, I can't. Yeah, Panalisa. Sorry, Panalisa Craft. It's called Honey Flower. It's really pretty, but I found out today, I guess they're not gonna have it anymore. So I'm really sorry about that. But it was a pretty little paper pad. What I saw on Amazon and what I got, the papers are a little bit more muted, I guess you can say. A little bit, the color ended up being a little bit more muted than I thought it was going to be, but they're still very, very pretty. Paper wise, it's a thick scrapbook paper. It's not cardstock, it's thick scrapbook paper. It does say cardstock, but to me it feels more like a thick scrapbook paper, which makes it really nice for like junk journals and stuff. But I'm actually making a card today. So what I did was I took this gray bee pattern, and I'm taking this really pretty floral pattern, and I use my Cricut to cut 2 holes out of it, and I am actually going to glue those 2 pieces together. So you can do this with any pattern paper really, but I'm gluing these 2 pieces together and just centering it nicely. The gray is just a little smaller than the outside piece, and I'm just doing this for layering purposes so that it has a little bit of a gray border. And I'm just going to smooth that out. I'm using I had my squeegee here somewhere, but I don't know, so I'm using my stamp thing. It's cool. So this is going to be part of the front of my card, but I'm making this actually into a shaker card. So we're going to put a little window in here, and we are going to make this into a 5.5 by 5.5 inch card. So I need to actually trim this down just a little bit because this is a 6 by 6 paper pad. So I do need to trim it just a little bit. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to do my all-in-one tool here. I need it 5.5 by 5.5. This is 6 by 6. So we are going to cut a 1/4 inch off of each side to make sure we still stay squared up. Go. And I did it glued together because I didn't want to, this way all my edges stayed nice and lined up. So that's why I glued it together first. I'm just cutting off, so I'm just cutting off a 1/4 inch off of each side just so I can make sure I can get it to be a 5.5 by 5.5. This is going to be the back. So we're cutting that 5.5 by 5.5. This is a cute little honeycomb pattern. Okay, so 5.5 by 5.5 for the honeycomb pattern. All right, and this is my card base. This is already a card base that I had. It's a black 5.5 by 5.5 that I got from Michael's years ago, but basically any piece of cardstock that you cut 5.5 by 11, basically 11 tall, will fold up to 5.5 by 5.5. Okay, so what we're gonna need, so we have that base, we have our main background. So I am going to glue our main background to our back card base. And this is just art glitter glue. I like it because it dries fast and smooth. So it's awesome. I'm just going to make sure I have that centered on there the best I can. As quick as I can. Oh, I see it. I lost. Sorry about that. I couldn't find this guy, my squeegee. I have my squeegee now. Just smoothing that out and making sure I have it the way I want it, because I want it opening this way. And then this is going to go here, but I want to make this a shaker card. So we need to attach some acetate here. All right. We have our acetate sheet. We're just going to cut that. And I swear I lose everything. How do I lose an entire thing? Okay, there it is. Okay. So we are going to cut our acetate sheet down. I swear I lose more and more space on this desk. Sometimes it's ridiculous. All right, so we only need 5.5 by 5.5, but we're gonna do 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 on the acetate. Because acetate's kind of annoying to try to get your hands on sometimes this large. I'm not going to use that much if at all possible. But we are now going to attach it here. All right, and to attach the acetate, I'm actually going to use my Sukwang tape. And we're going to put this just to the side for a moment. I'm just going to add my tape all the way around. None of this part you have to be super accurate about on this area. It's when we actually lift up the part that's going to be right here in the middle that you want to be particularly careful on how you place tape and things like that. It's just a little thin. There you go. It's just big enough for that part. Because basically right now this is the outer edge, so my little shaker bits aren't really going to matter right here. So let's get that. I just like to burnish down my tape to make sure it's not going to come up. I said this part doesn't really matter, but I'm so used to it when it comes to a shaker card. I want to make sure that that's really placed down nicely. And it's okay that I made my, and I know everybody's saying this like already, that some of that's gonna be like on the other side pulled over, but that's okay. Like the glue and the tape and all that's going to, or the tape is going to be on the outside a little bit. Okay, oh, there it is. The acetate was clear and I could not find it for a second there. All right, so, all right, this is the hardest part for me. I can barely see this acetate. My eyes are that bad, yes. I could barely see that acetate. And I got a little bit of it hanging over on this side. That's okay. I can see that it's hanging over here. So I'm just trimming the acetate down a little over here. You can see it's a nice big window. You will see why it's a nice big window. All right. So now I'm going to use my foam tape. All right. I love making shaker cards and I make them all the time. So this is my big wheel of foam, black foam tape. I don't use the foam tape very often because what I use instead is craft foam, regular craft foam, and I usually cut it to the shape that's going to go on the card. And I like that much better because it's smoother and like I can cut it the same size. But right now my desk is such a disaster that I just have no room to do that right now. So when you are making a shaker card, depending on the area of the shaker that you're going to have, you want to make sure you make yourself a nice wall for your shaker. Okay, so I'm putting these little tiny bees in for my shaker, which I don't know if you can see that. They're so tiny. Look at that. They're really small, but they're really cute. But I want it to be part of my shaker, along with some other stuff I'm going to put in there. But first, I need to make it even. So I try to put this as even as possible on the sides, because this is the part that's you're gonna see from the outside of the card, and you don't want it messy. So make that as nice and even as possible. I like using the black so that I don't really see it that much, because it's nice and dark that way. But this part you do want to make nice and even and pretty. And you want to make sure they're edge to edge to each other. Now this part doesn't matter too much, it being edge to edge, because I'm actually going to make another border wall within here, so that I don't have to put so much shaker. Otherwise the shaker is going to be shaking all the way over here, and there's going to be times all the shaker could end up disappearing. So you don't want to do that either. You want to make sure that this part's at least nice and even when it's this large. But it still doesn't matter that they're too close together quite yet. You just want to make it nice and neat because it's going to show on the outside. You don't want big gaps or anything like that, because you'll see them from the side of the card. At least I think you'll see them. Whether anybody really cares when they receive the card, that's a whole other matter, but for me, I believe you will see them. Okay, so see now there's some height. There's a little bit of height there now. So you can see when I push that down. Don't worry about the fingerprints yet. I do clean that all up before closing it up. Okay, so now we are going to create the wall around the opening so that the shaker's pretty much always staying there. So I'm really just going to diagonal these, I think, like this. Just making sure it's out of sight in here. If you have to move it, you can. Remember, it's foam, so it's kind of flexible, so it will move with you. The important part is not to leave any giant holes, so it's not escaping into here. It's not like falling out. The worst part, especially like if you're going to use glitter or something in a shaker, is it falling all out. All right, so now, like I said, just get as close as you can to everything so you create good walls. All right, and just be careful, because like right now I know I'm probably scratching up my acetate, but it's not too big of a deal because it's not the part that's showing. So make sure you don't have anything here so you're not scratching it all up, because that just does not look pretty. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to make it so I'm not there. A little better. I'm just popping off all the little areas of where it could go anyplace else, because like these are empty spots right now that my shakery stuff could disappear. So I mean, look, these are flat, so they can slide anywhere. So you can imagine if it slides over here, the whole bee is disappearing. Over here, the whole bee is disappearing. So I make bumpers or walls as much as possible so the cute stuff stays in view. You don't have to go as crazy as I do with it, but I just like to make sure that it stays there as much as you can. I think that's okay. You don't want it too close to the edge over here either, like where it can be seen from this other side, because you don't want to like go like that around the edges and somebody can see like underneath all the tapey mess. But just as much as possible. Now the other thing you don't want is giant gaps where it can like sink in, because if you mail these, just the mailing process alone is going to start smushing up your card if you have big gaps like this. So just create some cushion in those gaps so when you mail it, if you mail it, you know, it doesn't smush your card all to death, because it will happen. All right. I'm pushing all that in. All my gaps and things are cool. All right. So now we're going to get into the filling. Instamagic. Okay, so this is how I keep like all my little filler bits, along with a million other ways, but this is one of my newest. Still been a while. I've probably got a while, but it's one of the ways that I keep all my shaker bits and little things. So I'm going over here for some yellow circles. I'm hoping I have some black, so I can do the whole, so everything's kind of bee themed. I was hoping I had some black. I have some black little circles, that'll work. I know I have some clay black bits, but they're all like in my Halloween mixes, so I'm not gonna do that. Oh, duh. I have some bumblebee mixes. I'm not gonna use the bees out of this because I want the other bees, but I can use some of the flowers out of it. Yes, I still have some empty spots. Not a lot, but I do have some empty spots that I can use. Trying to think of what else I have. My experiments. So like these clay bits over here, I actually made myself. So I was like, I need certain colors of clay and stuff like that. And I was like, can't be that hard to make. So I did it. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too hard, but also wasn't super easy either. All right, so see if I put this tray somewhere that I don't lose it or it doesn't fall all over the place. I was so happy when I was looking through my stuff for my bits. I found my brush that I use to take off the static. I don't know, like it is a Royal 3/4 like synthetic brush. It says SG 1400. I don't know what it is, but it's anti-static. I got it from someplace that it was sold as an anti-static brush. But I don't know why it's anti-static, but it is. Okay, so we have our card base from before, and we have the cover. So I'm just making sure I have it the correct way. I'm so bad. I tend to end up with cards that are upside down and stuff. I'll be able to fix them in ways and stuff like that, but I end up with cards that end up standing up this way because I don't realize which way I have it open. But this one is definitely going to go this way. So I need to make sure that my pieces are nice and centered. So that has to come down just a hair about there. That looks good. All right, and we will put that down. So this guy is actually part of Cricut Design Space. It's a saying on Cricut Design Space. It's the same place I got the little bee figure to make my little bee confetti. And what I did was got the saying. It usually comes in layers, but I flattened it and I added an offset to give it a little bit of a border so it's easier to work with. All right, I'm just going to put a little glue so I don't lose my centering. There we go. And then glue the rest. But I put a little offset off of it and then I just cut it on my Cricut. And I'm going to glue this down nice and tight because I don't want any of my shaker bits getting underneath it. So I want to make sure it's there. I always lose my... There it is. Always losing this. I don't know how I lose it. It's huge. But I do. Okay. I'm going to make sure there's plenty of glue. The parts that I missed. Anytime I know glue's going to sputter out, I push it a little and I try to grab it with my fingers before it can really get out. And if it does come out, I just make sure I have my glue eraser handy. Which, there it is. A little glue eraser to make sure that I don't see any glue because I hate seeing glue. But you have to be careful, do it gently or else you're gonna rip your paper. There we go, no glue. Making sure none of my spots are too... I know I should have like glued a little better before, but I know nobody's gonna see this but me, but that's okay. Okay. Okay, that seems better. No serious giant tuck spots. I just want to make sure that things are not going to get stuck underneath it and then I end up not seeing my cool bits of stuff that I want to show. All right, so now we are going to take our shaker bits and just put them on top. I want to keep a couple of these. Oh, well, I'm just going to have to get more. It's a huge shaker area, so I know I'm going to need kind of a bit. We're going to put some of these guys down. And if you ever need to like test how wide of a shaker bit, because I'm afraid these might actually get stuck. Just get your tape and put it down. Yeah. These might get stuck in place, but that's okay. So if they do, I right away don't want them in the way. These are a little thick. So I'm moving them out of the way at a time. Actually, that little guy's cute right there, but yeah, I'm moving them out of the way ahead of time. These are not going to get stuck. So these are fine. These are nice and thin for the most part. This one's really thick. Like I said, I usually wouldn't put too many, but this one's a really big card. Let me test that. Yeah, so you want a pretty good amount of shaker bits on this guy. All right, and yep, perfect. Once we have daisies in there, we're gonna use some of these daisies. I know when it shakes, it's not gonna be the same, but I don't care. I'm still gonna kind of strategically place them just so I can see it. It's also good, like if you take pictures, if you're gonna take pictures, take them before you do the first shake. So you can get some of these bits nicely strategically placed. All right, let me see. I'm gonna put that one there. That one can stay there. And I think just one more. I think that's enough. Put that in there. I'm gonna more of the black ones, but we'll get more later. if I ever need them. I'm trying not to hoard. So I always keep having to tell myself in my head, just use it, just use it. Or I'm gonna end up hoarding them, which is bad. Okay, so now we got the bees. And I want a lot of these guys in there. Okay. There we go. There. I know they're like just all around. Okay. All right. Once you've got enough of your shakery bits, which I'm hoping that's enough. Because think about it, when you finally pick this up, they're not going to be spread out like this. They're all going to be in a little bottom thing over here. So you want to make sure it looks like it has enough of them. I think I'm going to just put just a tiny bit more of these yellow guys. See a thick one. Like I said, I made these myself, so some of them are thick and some of them are thin. All right. So now it's time to put this down. Okay, so before you put this down, and I always do this, and I tend to forget. Luckily, I did not forget this time. Before you put this down, wipe your acetate clean. Look, see, that was good because I ended up finding a little stray piece of paper. But don't worry about the outside yet, just the inside. This is just a glasses cleaner. My eyeglass wipe cleaner, rag, whatever you call it, cloth. Also, I have a bad habit. Since I'm wearing a long sweater, I always do the ones that are further away from you first and then work towards you. This will avoid you accidentally touching the sticky bits with a sweater or a sleeve or whatever. Just remember, work from the outside in. Whenever it comes to glue, paint, whatever, try to work from the outside in or spin it or flip it to make sure you don't end up getting stuff on you or stuff on the piece you're working on. All right. So make sure that's good. No static, I believe. Is that on the inside or the outside? It's on the outside. Outside. Okay. There's some little hairs from that brush I was messing with. Okay. Oh, speaking of, also, I should have did this before. And I didn't. If you have one of those little, I don't forget what they call them. I know some people call them a stamp buddy or something like that. But basically, it's the anti-static pouch. And mine's missing. Yeah, mine's missing. So we're going to use my brush, my anti-static brush. But if you can de-static your acetate before putting it on, it's a good idea. And then you can make sure, see, because there's paper already getting stuck to this guy. Just center it the best you can. Let's push that on there. Ooh, not too bad. We're just going to push all around there. Make sure you get that seal nice and tight around that area that has all your shaker bits. And there you go. Making sure I did it right. Yeah, you can see already, like as soon as I put it down, that little bee like pop, smacked right up. I'm sorry about the light. But how cute is that for a little card? All right. So I'm going to there. There. All right, that was just so I can get a still shot after, but now I'm gonna shake it. Yeah, see, I told you, those guys, not even moving. The little black dots are not moving. It's too tight, but that's okay. I don't mind it. No, I think we're good though. I think that is a good amount of shaky bits. I think that is so cute. I love the way the little bees came out. I love the little flowers. Some of them are getting stuck on top of each other, but that's okay. I think that was a good amount. That's so cute. Look at that. Cute, simple little card. Just pop it open like that. I love that. And you can add other things to the outside if you want to, ribbon or anything. I'm thinking I might actually add a little stitch or something, or some dots with some enamel dots or something later. I'm not sure, but I like it. It's super simple and easy. Super cute. And see the edges, because I put them back just a little and it's black, you can't really see in there to see what's going on with the tape. So I don't like it when they're too thick and then you can see like everything. This is cute. It came out really cute. I like it. And then the inside. Like I might put another piece of paper in here just to give it a little more sturdiness, but it's pretty sturdy. It's pretty good. I hope you like the quick tutorial on how to make this little guy. Like I said, it's a really cute paper pack. I don't know if it's just not going to be available on Amazon right now. If it does become available again, I will list it below. These are my little remnant pieces from the cutout that I did. So I got to figure out what I want to do with these two pieces. You can see the pattern's really cute. I like it. Like I said, it's thick. It's definitely more like a thick scrapbook paper. It's not cardstock, even though, like I said, they call it cardstock, but it's definitely more thick, thick pattern paper. But I like it because I've been looking for more pattern papers instead of cardstock for a very long time. I want to say it was like $8.99 for the pack, and you get 28 papers. So bad with that right now. Oh, I lost the cover for a second. You get 12 designed to each. It is 24 sheets. If it becomes back in stock, or they list it again, I will put a link when it's available. Yeah, but you can do with any paper. I think this is super cute. All right. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you want to see more stuff. I have all kinds of stuff coming up. Definitely some more junk journals. I'm going to be showing some flip throughs of some junk journals that are going to be up on my website. Cards and things will also be up there if I don't use them. We are going to have a nice long selection, or a nice big selection of cards and everything else, along with t-shirts and mugs and anything else. And of course, MisfitCrafterStudio.com is always going to have classes, workshops, and kits and everything else. Look at that. I love it. It's so cute. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.